From Washington to Hollywood and right back to Wisconsin. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Connecting the dots on the stories shaping our world with smart takes, sharp humor, and plenty of personality.
You know, I really expected more professional behavior from you.
It's news and culture without the noise.
Yeah, man!
Here's Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Dude!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Nightlight. This is the Civic Media Network. I am Pete Schwaba, coming to you live from beautiful northeast Wisconsin in a little town I like to call Christmas City, USA. I'm the only one that does that, as of now, also known as Marinette, and coming to you live from Radio Park in Racine, just down the coast, if I can call Lake Michigan a coast. It's a coast, Greg, right?
Yes.
You can pull that off, yeah.
Absolutely. It's the best.
That's the voice of Greg Bach, who is my co-host, and it's nice to see you, sir. How are you doing today, Greg?
I'm doing quite well. It's really nice outside. Had a good day, got a lot done, getting ready for the weekend. It's Friday Eve. I'm here for it.
Dude, Thursday in many ways is more fun than Friday to me.
Absolutely.
It's like
Absolutely.
you're almost there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, well, that's good to hear. Dom, how you doing, buddy? Dom Lee is in Madison, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us, the three of us together, if you're watching on the stream, you can see that we are a triangle, and one of our listeners, Brett, affectionately calls us the Yatterhay Triangle. So I accept that. That's a good moniker.
I'm doing pretty good, Pete. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not.
I took a long way to get there. Sorry. I asked you how you were doing.
How
then
you
I went on
doing?
this
But
ramble.
let me finish this idea. I had this idea rattling around in my brain box here. 7 hours later. And the other thing about the second Grease movie is... No, I'm just kidding. Dom, how you doing?
I'm doing
Back
pretty
to
good.
Dom, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not doing great, though. And the reason for that is because I went to Aldi, but I left my quarter at home. So I couldn't...
dude.
I had to go back. And then go... It's only a 10-minute drive, but still, it's kind of like a... Come on. Right? Like, come
It's
on.
a long drive, though, for a quarter.
You just put a quarter in your car. That's what I...
I know I should, but I don't know. I just didn't today.
I've done that.
It's
Then
my
you
fault.
lose it.
It's my fault, but it's still, it made my day rather than amazing.
You're turning into Jimmy Caesar right here. I forgot my quarter. I left my
big of
quarter
you.
at home.
It's big of you to take the blame, though.
Yeah, it's not very
It
American
is
of
your
you.
fault.
It's not very American of you.
That is bad, though. I've been at Aldi when I've had to ask someone for a quarter, and I had like 3 nickels and a dime. I was like, can I get a quarter? It would just like give it to you because they feel bad for you.
Yeah, no, just keep it, buddy. You're good.
It's humbling, yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked out.
How are you, Pete?
I'm doing okay. I made the mistake. I think I told you guys earlier in the week. I put this fire table together with a propane tank. Pardon me. And I did okay. I think I assembled it properly, but there might be a wire issue. I went to the store last night. There's this Tractor Supply company here. I went there to get propane, and I've done this. This is about the 3rd or 4th time I've done this in my life. Their colors are black and red. There's a dude there wearing black and red, and I say, "Sir, excuse me, I'm here to get some propane." And the guy looks at me and goes, "I don't work here." Like,
Wow.
He was annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, you're wearing black and red. It's just a coincidence."
Yeah.
I immediately backtracked. And I'm like, "I'm really sorry." Like, I didn't think it was that big of an insult, but I've done that. I did that once, you ever do that? You like go to an A&W and there's someone wearing brown and orange. And it's like, seriously? That's an interesting fashion.
Or you go to Target and someone's wearing red and khaki. You're like, come on, man.
With a bullseye.
You're just asking for it at this point. Like, you're just asking. That happened to me once. I was at a pick and save after work at a job where I wore a tie to work, and a lady came up to me. She goes, "I'm looking for yogurt." I'm like, "I don't work here, but the yogurt's in this aisle over here." I had to help her, like, because she was just very nice.
That's
And I
very
knew where the
sweet.
yogurt was, but I was also like,
Right.
I don't work here.
Sometimes I'll go there and I'll just start rearranging the produce, hoping people think I work there. So I can come across like a big shot. You know?
Do you work here? Yeah, my name is Pete Tractor Supply.
I'm volunteering. The bananas are over there. Folks, we have a great show tonight. We got this is going to be fun, guys. We got our pal Logan Rogi coming by at 5:35. He's going to be here to tell us what's going on in Wisconsin, and who better to do this? Logan works for Travel Wisconsin. He is their senior communication specialist. So he'll be here. He drops by periodically. We always have a nice chat with Logan, and there's so much going on here in Wisconsin, guys. This is the time of year that Wisconsin really sparkles, I think. I love being here. Fall is actually my favorite season, but I love Wisconsin in the summer. We got the lakes. It's just a great place to be. It's a state of mind.
Very much so. Very much. And welcome on in, everyone, to Wisconsin. And tell your friends. Tell your friends. Greg on the live stream asks a really quick question here. He says, what is the thing with a quarter at Aldi? Well, Greg, if you've never been there, they have this system where their carts are locked up by these small chains to a little box on the cart. And to get the cart out, you got to put a little quarter in there. And then when you're done with the cart, you put the chain back in the little box, and it spits your quarter back out like a little deposit. So I guess you don't steal the cart, but that's the whole deal with the quarter at Aldi.
And then they don't have to hire people either to wrangle the carts too. I think that's part of it, like just to keep their costs down. And man, that's a place I used to have not a prejudice toward, but I never wanted to go to Aldi. It always freaked me out because they were always kind of like dimly lit. And like, I'm like, what's in there? Yeah, for years ago, but I would say about 12 years, maybe about 2014 or 2013, I started going there. I am all about Aldi. I love Aldi.
That's all I go.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's where I go every time. Every time.
And we're not paid by Big Aldi either, folks. We're just three guys who enjoy fine shopping.
We like a nice deal at a fair price. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So Logan will be here at 5:35. He's going to tell us what's going on in Wisconsin this summer. And then in hour number 2, ladies and gentlemen, it's Nightlight Movie Club. We do this every Thursday night here in our second hour. And this week's film is Casino Royale. That's right. It's a Bond film, baby. Join the conversation in the second hour. If you got an hour to squeeze in a little bit of viewing if you want to refresh your memory, but you just want to listen to us or join the conversation any way you can. We love it when you guys participate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very good time. What else we got on the old docket there, Pete? We got some stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
We've got our, well, this is fun, guys. I love every time we do this at Civic Media. It's just so much fun. It's our Text to Win contest. And this Text to Win contest, which goes hand in hand with summer and Logan and everything happening in the beautiful state of Wisconsin. It's our Accelerate Your Summer multi-state Text to Win contest happening right now. And all you need, folks, is the app. Just get the app. You probably already have it, but if you don't, get yourself the app. I'm going to give you a keyword in about 1 minute. Text that in on the app, and you will be eligible for our daily prize of $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package. It doesn't get any better than that. And just by playing and texting in the keyword, you make yourself automatically eligible for the grand prize. And our grand prize for this contest is a $250 grocery card and a $250 gas card. That's big, big savings, Greg.
That's big, big savings. And you'll also have possibly an opportunity to get one extra entry if you haven't already. If you get a bounce back message from us asking to, hey, sign up for the newsletter or follow us on social media. You do that, you get one extra entry. It only happens during the contest once. That's it. One extra entry, but make sure you follow through, click through that link, get yourself another chance to win because that can make all the difference.
It's a click, you know? That's it. A click and a little extra chance. It's great stuff. All right, folks. So this hour's keyword, get your pens and papers ready. Dom,
get your timpani sticks up.
I appreciate that.
Is fun. F-U-N. Fun. Think Wisconsin, think summer, think accelerate your summer with fun. Fun
Absolutely.
is this hour's keyword. F-U-N, fun. Text that in on the app, and good luck, everybody. Let's have some fun. That is hot fun in the summertime, guys, right there. Right? I mean...
It's any other song titles you can think of? Hot Town, Summer in the City.
Oh,
yeah,
I
summer,
like that one too.
Hot
Fun in the Summertime is a song.
Yeah, Hot Fun in the Summertime.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
you knew I got that from somewhere. I thought it was a line from a movie or something.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure they've said it in movies. That feels like an easy sentence to say, but it's also a song.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Sly, they're the ones that sing Hot Fun in the Summertime. Yes, Dom. Yes, thank you. Dom with the Google and the haircut, which is holding fast. I love it. Great stuff. Thank you, sir. That's why Dom is an outstanding producer. I think it's time, without further ado, speaking of James Bond, that we get to our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
Well, you may have already guessed or had some inclination of what the question of the night is, but tonight's question is, what was the best James Bond movie? Or your favorite, whatever. You could go best, favorite. Also, it's a two-parter. Who is the best Bond? And ready for this? It's a three-parter. Who do you think should play James Bond? We don't have a James Bond right now, guys.
No, we don't. They're still in talks. They still have not made a decision.
So there you go.
So it's a three-part question.
Have fun. Answer one part of it. Answer three parts of it. Elaborate. Send us an essay, folks. What was the best James Bond movie? Who was the best James Bond? And who should be the new Bond? 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on that app, or if you're watching the radio on YouTube, Facebook, or X Twitter, send us a stream comment and let us know. Be part of the conversation, and specifically join us in hour number 2 for Talk About Casino Royale with Nightlight Movie Club. It's going to be fun, guys.
It's going to be absolutely, absolutely fun. We're going to have a blast here on this Thursday. It's not a casual Thursday, but it's still a fun Thursday.
You got a baseball jersey on, though. That would indicate casuality.
No, the Brewers did lose. Although I will say, when I last left the game, it was 3-10, and then that game ended up being 9-12. So
they made
got
a run.
beat, but they made a run in the bottom of the 9th. So I will give the Brewers that. I love them very much. Always fighting till the very, very end.
There is no quit in the crew, for sure.
No,
that's impressive.
Exactly. All right. What do we have in the world of news, though, right now, Pete? We got so much going on here.
There's a lot of different stories.
I know.
Start with, go for it, Greg. You pick.
Well, there's a new documentary coming out on Netflix about Michael Jackson. This one is coming out. It's called Michael Jackson, The Verdict. It's actually now streaming. It's a 3-episode documentary exploring the 2005 criminal trial that probably won't be mentioned in the sequel movie to the biop of Michael Jackson. And this one seems to be getting very into some
allegations.
Allegations. And I mean, we're going to put the story in the show notes here. You can read it for yourself. But he was found not guilty on all charges. He was acquitted completely. But as it says in this story, it's an acquittal. It's a trial process. The whole thing is something that changed him completely. He never recovered from it. 4 years later, he died, and it still leaves some folks saying, what actually happened? What really happened?
It's crazy. I don't know what happened. I know he's one of those guys. I like his music so much. I grew up listening to the Jackson 5. I didn't want any of it to be true. In terms of if there was assault or, look, he definitely had teenagers and boys on his property, and
yes.
You could make a leap that I wouldn't do that today just because of the look. But back then, who knows what happened? Macaulay Culkin came to his defense and affected the trial greatly. People believed Macaulay Culkin. He said Michael Jackson is not this person. Like, he's helped kids. So I don't know, Greg. I hope it's not true. But like same with the Epstein thing. And people say if you accuse Trump with Epstein, they'll go, oh, what about Clinton or whatever? Hey, anybody who does this, go away.
Yeah. Well,
prosecute him, get him out of here.
My big question was always like, yeah, you wanted to have kids over, that's fine, but have the parents there too. You have a big house.
Right.
Hey, we're going to have a big party. We're going to, it just seemed very suspicious. And there are a lot of people out there who just simply say, I don't care what you say. He's innocent. I don't care. I love his music. He's innocent.
Right.
I don't care. And that's hard to have a conversation about this topic then, because when we talk about prosecution, we talk about guilt, we talk about responsibility. It's very difficult when you just stop and say, I don't believe you no matter what.
Yeah, and for both sides, too. Right. He was acquitted, but there was a civil suit. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that, but should be interesting viewing. Hey, we are coming right back, folks, to talk about some more goings-on in the world. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network. Welcome back. Great to have you here tonight, folks. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. We are coming to you live on the Civic Media Network, broadcasting through much of Wisconsin and parts beyond over the app and stream. It is a beautiful Thursday night in the state of Wisconsin. Greg and I are sifting through some current events here. I do want to read our pal Greg, who mentioned he wanted to know what the deal is with the Aldi and the Quarter. And he said, I just thought of this. That's my next career move, the blind cart wrangler at Aldi.
Well, he actually said the blind heart wrangler. And if you know Greg, he'll wrangle your heart every time.
He does. And I saw that, but I thought it was What's a heart wrangler? I thought it was a typo.
No. I think it was a typo. He meant cart wrangler. I think that's what you meant, Greg. I don't want to assume. I think that's what you meant. But if you know Greg, if you've met Greg, he is a heart wrangler too. Like,
I totally agree with you.
Such
a great
good
guy.
man.
And here's the really sad thing. Greg is a blind guy who had one typo. I have 3 or 4 per text, and I have pretty much 20/20 vision. So I don't know what that says about me.
A lot.
Thanks for sharing that one.
Chime in,
I feel like I'm going to call
I'm giving
myself
him a
out
compliment.
I know. I'm just saying, but you're still a good speller. I don't know.
Well, I was a spelling minor in college. So here's something, guys. I saw this today, and it kind of we've talked about this before, Greg. This UFC event at the White House, they are building this monstrosity that looks like it's out of a Bond film. Mm-hmm. This cage that's huge. It dwarfs the White House, at least from the angles of the pictures they take.
Yeah.
But today, this might have been yesterday, actually, UFC fighter Bryce Mitchell came out and said the government shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be sponsoring sports. I saw this on Yahoo, and his name is Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell, but he's actually very articulate. You wouldn't expect that. But he is not ranked in the top 10, but he's considered a top 25 fighter. And he came out just like another UFC fighter,
Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland came out, and he was silenced, and they don't like people speaking out against this event. But, he apparently Bryce was an economics major, and he says our government is to protect and serve the people. Really should be as minimal as possible. And when you're doing all this stuff, hosting sporting events, it's really outside of what the goal of government was intended to be, because our tax dollars and resources are funding this operation. I totally agree with him. I love sports, but ultimately, sports is not that important overall, and the government should not be. I totally agree with him. It's a great point.
It's interesting because in that clip, and I watched the video of him, he said, like, I would totally be there. I'm not on the card. If you want me to be there, I'll totally be there. And he did his best to protect the UFC from this. He's like, do your thing, do your business. And I was like, all right, good skating there. But also, I guess Joe Rogan, he said he criticized the upcoming fight on the podcast, but he will be there to call the event. So.
Right, he's not going
to. So it's bad, but if I'm going to get a taste, not that bad.
He's not going to skip a payment. No. I thought this was funny on your behalf, Greg. This is another thing Bryce Mitchell said. Something's going to change because evil empire, referring to the Trump administration, something's going to change because evil empires don't last forever. There's always a rebellion. Have you ever seen Star Wars? I was kind of leaving that nugget for you.
Yeah, exactly.
He says, that's what's going to happen, bro. Those are his words. Oh, and then he went on to say Darth Vader's going to get took down. Okay.
I don't know what that means. Is he saying that Donald Trump is Darth Vader? Because it's just, no, I want to see that in an AI slot picture. I'm sure that's out there somewhere. But yeah, I was really surprised because usually the UFC stays really quiet, especially because Dana White is basically one of the best friends of Donald Trump. So I'm wondering if there'll be any backlash for this young man because he said something. Although he did do his best to say, not the UFC. The UFC, do your thing. If you have the opportunity, go for it. But the government, bad.
Yeah, exactly. He was supportive of all the fighters. But look, this guy studied economics and had the courage to speak out. So I'm sure he'll land on his feet regardless of what happens. But that was very interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something that we came across too here, and we're going to put this all on the show notes, was the pure cost of the war to specifically Wisconsinites. Right now, a new study has said that Wisconsin families have paid more than $207 in gas and diesel since the beginning of the war, like per family. $207 more per family in gas and diesel. And farm bankruptcies have gone up 70% in 2 years. You'll see there'll be a link to the Watson School of International Public Affairs with a running tally, like that old, like the national debt clock that's in New York. This one here is the total consumer burden since the war started, and right now we're at $53.666 billion consumer burden on the war, and people are upset about it. I mean, we're seeing it in the polling numbers. We're seeing it, people saying like, we didn't want this war. We don't want anything that's happening like this. We wanted to be great again.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when you see that ticker we saw online, it like makes it real. It's like just constantly every second updating how much money is being spent. And National gas price, the average, the lowest, I think, is $3.55 a gallon in Indiana. It's now $5.98, basically $6 in California. Overall national average is $4.25. I think that's about what it is here in Marinette. Maybe a little more expensive, but this was interesting too. The conflict with Iran on the same website said it is adding an estimated $85 to $120 to the average American's household monthly grocery bill. So since the start of the war, $207 in gas. Break that up. That's an extra 100 and change. And now you got $85 to $120 in groceries added to that, 220 plus. That's a lot of money for most people.
And here's the thing, too, is if the tariffs stopped tomorrow, if the war stopped tomorrow, if the Strait of Hormuz opened up tomorrow, that doesn't mean those prices are coming. And the gas prices will go down, but your grocery bills probably will not go down. Those prices are not going anywhere. And we were also told on day one that he would cut prices. And we're far past day one.
Checking his watch. This is the best time to bring Logan Rogi onto the show. I think his afternoons like this because he's a happy guy and he's the senior communications specialist at Travel Wisconsin. He will be joining us after the news, folks. It is so great to have you here. It's Thursday night in the beautiful state of Wisconsin. Summer appears to be here. Maybe we'll get snow next week. I don't know. But for now, the weather's nice. So,
what are you doing?
Can you tell I live in northern Wisconsin? All right, we're coming back, and then it's Nightlight Movie Club in hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network. Welcome back to Nightlight, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pete Schwaba, sitting just upstate, upriver, up lake, if you will, from Mr. Greg Bach, who joins us from Radio Park and Racine. Domley holding down the fort at Civic Media headquarters in Madison. We are, the three of us, comprise the Yotterhay Triangle. And if you're watching on the stream, you know exactly what we mean, because that's how we're arranged in the picture. So great to have you with us on this beautiful Thursday night in the state of Wisconsin. Just a reminder that this hour's keyword in our Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text-to-win contest here at Civic Media is fun. F-U-N. Fun. So enter that in the on the app, and you will be eligible to win $100 in cash, a little prize package for Wisconsin Dells. And just by playing, you automatically enroll yourself for our grand prize. And Greg, what are our grand prizes?
Well, thank you so much, Pete, for asking. Our grand prizes are a $250 gift card for gas and a $250 card for groceries. Wow. Don't forget, folks, if you get a message from... Why am I talking like this? I'm talking, hello, everybody. Welcome to the radio. And if you also get a message bounce back from us saying, hey, check out this, and we invite you to sign up for our newsletter or follow us on social media, that will get you one extra entry. You only get that once in the contest, not every single time. So it's basically one extra we're throwing your way if you do us a solid, follow us on social media, something like that. But make sure we can send you those text messages so you have a better chance of winning.
That sounds like what I like to call hot fun in the summertime. So in keeping with that theme, I am about to welcome our first and only guest of the evening, since it's Nightlight Movie Club. This gentleman has joined us countless times over the last 2 or 3 years, and he has loads of fun, and he has the 411 on what you need to be doing this summer in our beautiful state, where there is lots of FUN fun and lots going on. Mr. Logan Rogi, the senior communications specialist from Travel Wisconsin, joins us now over the stream. Hi, Logan.
Hey, Pete. Thanks for having me on the program. It's great to be back.
Well, it's good to have you. And I just realized I never really put 2 and 2 together before, but you are the senior communications specialist. So that means you get to boss around all the other lower communication specialists?
All the juniors?
You know, that's not quite in the job description, but we can maybe workshop a new one.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, it's great to have you here, buddy. Let's jump right into some of the things you shared with us that are happening around the state. Outdoor art. Where do we go to see beautiful murals or sculptures or what? What is happening this summer?
Yeah, so the calendar, it's showing June. We are at the start of summer, and there's just so many destinations across the state where you can get out and find art in the outdoors. One new one is in Oshkosh. Last fall, they actually unveiled Wisconsin's largest mural. So muralist Mauricio Martinez, he's a nationally known artist. He accepted this call to paint 1,000-foot stretch of wall along the Oshkosh River walk.
Wow.
Yeah, and he worked from sunup to sundown and completed the project in a month. So today it was a labor of love, and today you can enjoy it. It's this really cool, color-filled tribute to industry, heritage, and community, and it extends for nearly a quarter of a mile. Best ways to take it in is just going for a walk along that river walk or boating on the river. Plus, you're going to find a ton of other murals throughout Oshkosh.
I love it. That sounds absolutely amazing. That's not the only kind of art that's out there. There's a great piece that looks like here in Marathon County as well.
Yeah, we are so fortunate to have art in the outdoors and public art throughout the state. Marathon County, I'm sure they have some beautiful artwork throughout the county. One place that actually really stands out to me is the Eau Claire sculpture tour. Have you heard of this one?
No,
I haven't either. No.
It's actually the nation's largest rotating sculpture tour. So what that means is they have about 120 pieces of artwork, and some of them leave after each season, and new ones come in, and it's just this fun way to keep it fresh for visitors. So you can walk and bike throughout the city and see these awesome pieces of artwork from those local and national artists. And the fun thing about this, it's like visitor informed too. So you can vote on your favorite piece of artwork, and at the end of the season, it's added to the permanent collection. So voting starts June 15th on this new season of the Eau Claire Sculpture Tour.
Oh, I love that.
That's very, very cool.
That is outstanding. Do you have any plans, Logan, to come up to what I like to call Christmas City, USA, Marinette, Wisconsin, and look at some of our fine artwork? I think we need to expose this to Travel Wisconsin.
I don't have any active plans, but I got to add it to the list. I know a couple of years ago, I want to say there was a piece of tribal-inspired artwork that was unveiled by the waterfront, recognizing the ancestral bear. That's a great piece to check out.
Wow, look at that. Off the top of his head, Greg. I threw him a curveball. I made it awkward, and Logan delivered. Get out of here.
He's
That's
not
great.
the senior communication specialist for nothing. He's not like a junior or some intern. He's a senior, okay?
There's a reason
that
for
senior is Logan Rogi from Travel Wisconsin. Again, joining us today to talk about all the great things happening in Wisconsin. And that's something that I feel like a lot of Wisconsinites, folks born and raised here like myself, we still don't know everything going on. So it's great to have you on here. But one thing that Wisconsin's definitely known for in the summertime are our festivals, whether you're talking about down in the lakefront in the southeastern area or just all over the state. But tell us about some more festivals going on around the area.
Yeah, Greg, you're spot on. With Wisconsin, we're known for our festive spirit. It happens year round, but you really see it ramp up in the summer. And Travel Wisconsin, we know that folks travel in different styles. We actually help people who are looking for specific types of festivals with this feature we have on our website called Travel Styles. So if you're looking for history, culture, food, music, you can find that at travelwisconsin.com/travel styles. But there's some fun music festivals in the works. Are either of you familiar with the Eau Claire's festival?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it. Yeah, it's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, so I had the fortune of going several years back for the second year, and they are making their grand return this summer. They took a several-year hiatus, and we're very happy to see them coming back. This is the brainchild of Eau Claire's own Justin Vernon, of course, of indie music band Bon Iver. You can get your tickets now for the festival. It's July 24th to the 25th, and it's really going to be this eclectic lineup of musicians, bands, and artists.
I'm really happy that's back because I was really I have friends who went every year and they were really bummed when it stopped happening. But I'm really glad that he brought it back to Eau Claire too. I mean, I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, I am personally sad. I have a separate trip planned that weekend, but I'm looking forward to the 2027 edition.
Go ahead, Logan. Sorry.
I was just gonna ask, are either of you feeling a little hungry?
Always, every day, all the time. Seriously, what are you talking about? Like,
Well,
did you bring
perfect.
some food? If not, why are you asking?
We'll get it overnighted to you, Greg. Don't worry.
Let's go.
No, I have some great food festivals if you want to hear a couple of
Yeah,
those.
for sure.
Yes, please.
So for something a little sweet, the Cedarburg Strawberry Festival, that's coming up this month. That's a great one. It's going to be thousands of other strawberry lovers. It's an annual gathering on June 27th to the 28th. And it's going to be, live music, local vendors, family-friendly activities, and of course, strawberry-flavored dishes like your shortcake. But you have to pair that with something savory. That's the Ellsworth Cheese Curd Festival.
That cracked me up because, first of all, I love that in Wisconsin there's a cheese curd festival, because even if there was no festival, well, what would we be doing? We'd still be eating cheese curds. But this allows us to take it to another level. But I love the idea of the strawberries and the cheese curds together. You're right. The sweet and savory. Get out of town. Come on.
Right? It pairs two of our passions, great food and community gathering, that is happening June 26th to the 27th. So there's a little bit of an overlap. You can make both of those festivals in the same weekend. And actually, the festival goers, they're going to consume over 6,000 pounds of curds, including the event's signature creation. This is the cinnamon sugar dessert curd.
Gosh.
So good. Maybe we'll send Dom up there as a special correspondent.
Please. I would love that. Oh, man.
I haven't tasted it personally, but I've only heard great things. Talk about pairing savory and sweet with the cinnamon sugar dessert curd.
Totally.
No, I'm really hungry. My gosh.
So let's talk about, I know we've talked about this before, Logan, but there's an area of Wisconsin I've never been to. And a lot of people say it's the most beautiful area in the entire state. And people probably think I'm north in Marinette. You can go about 3 hours further north to Bayfield and check out the Apostle Islands. And I know you have this under Summer Experiences, a seasonal cultural venue, in addition to American Players Theater, which is beautiful in Spring Green. But this is Big Top Chautauqua. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is a quintessential summertime experience. It's in rural Bayfield, and you are just going to join other music lovers under this large blue circus-style tent. It's actually like a really historic venue. They've hosted acts like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson,
nice.
Randy Carlisle, and John Prine. So they bring in some big names, but this year they have this eclectic lineup of local, regional, and national acts. They're also launching the inaugural Lake Effect Music Festival. It's going to be this 2-day celebration in August of music and outdoor adventure. And then something I just learned about today, they are planning a super secret concert. There's no details exactly on who's performing, but it is one of their most requested return acts in history. That's going to be happening September 10th, and they are putting tickets on sale, and it's just one of those surprise grab bag concerts.
This is in Bayfield?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a long drive, though, if you buy tickets and then get there and don't like it.
Milli Vanilli.
Ice baby.
No, he's got a different gig coming up. Don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Our guest is Logan Rogi. He is the senior communications specialist at Travel Wisconsin. He joins us here periodically to tell us what's going on around the state, our beautiful state, the state of summer, really. There's no place better to be than Wisconsin during summer. When we come back after this really short break, we're going to talk to him about where he was, a big tourist trap, but he had a great time there. And then we'll ask him about maybe a couple of hidden gems, too. A reminder, folks, that this hour's keyword in our Accelerate Your Summer Multi-state text-to-win contest is fun, F-U-N. We are coming right back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network. Welcome back, folks. We are doing Thursday, probably better than I would say, Greg, we've ever done it. This is the Thursday on Nightlight, as far as I'm concerned, since we've been in this.
Come at us, haters.
Yeah, let's go. But we have our pal Logan Rogi is here. He is the senior communications specialist at Travel Wisconsin. They do great work there, promoting the state, getting the word out about our beautiful places to visit in and around Wisconsin. We're talking about summer festivals, outdoor art, and all kinds of fun stuff. Logan, shared with us in an email that you recently went to the Dells, and tell us about that trip, because I think sometimes for a guy like me, I don't necessarily want to go where it's very crowded, but the Dells are also really fun and pretty cool. So I would love to hear about your experience there recently.
Yeah, so one of the things I love about the Dells is it's such a dynamic destination. There's always something new each season. It's this like innovative edge that the community just brings out in the attractions. And I was recently there just checking out some of the new ways visitors can explore or enjoy the community. I checked out the Kalahari Treehouse Adventures, and this is one of Wisconsin's most elevated lodging options. Literally, it's these modern cabins that are on stilts, placed in a forest right on the on the edge of Lake Delton. You walk in and you are going to be hit with that fresh cabin smell. I kid you not. Like it's just this beautiful smell of that cedar wood that makes up the cabin. And they were actually designed by Pete Nelson. He's the star of the former Animal Planet show, Treehouse Masters.
Oh wow!
So they're just thoughtfully designed. They've got little touches like board games hidden throughout for folks to just spend some quality time together. Each of them comes with a private fire pit, screened in porch. So that's a new way to spend the night in the Dells. And then I was truly blown away by my experience at Aqua Via Lumina. So I might have mentioned this on the program before, but it is this, I would call it an otherworldly attraction. It's essentially this sensory experience of light, sound, and illusion. So you start by walking this mile trail down into Sandstone Canyon on the mythical journey, following a deer to the source. And each phase of Aqua Via Lumina, there is just this such well thought out and designed production with it. You're going to be hearing sounds coming from hidden speakers and see projections and lights play off the rocks. And it's such, like I said, an otherworldly experience.
Wow. That sounds so very cool. My goodness. I got so much to do this summer. Mike, I got to start making plans like super right now. Now, really quick, Logan, we talked about this on yesterday's show about a story that was why the Midwest Quest is the hottest travel trend of 2026. And you work for Travel Wisconsin. You are in the thick of it. You know what people are traveling for and why they're coming here. Why do you think people are all of a sudden, I don't want to say they're starting to discover the Midwest, but it's becoming a trend, or people really want to come to this area for vacation or a getaway or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think that's just a combination of a couple things. We are home to some just really authentic experiences. Whether you're coming here to taste our cheese, which wins more awards than any other state or country, or if you want to experience a pizza farm, as we discussed last time.
Funniest joke I've ever said in the world.
Yes.
or explore our outdoors on the Ice Age Trail, which is only in Wisconsin. Wisconsin
cool.
offers these, unique visitor experiences. So that's part of it. But it's also just our welcoming nature in Wisconsin. We hear it from so many folks who come here, and they just feel so invited and so welcome in whatever community they travel in. We have that perfect balance of urban exploration and just rural and outdoor getaways that folks are waking up. They're discovering that we're not a fly over destination, we are a fly to destination.
Boom.
Well said.
That was great, Logan.
That's why he's the senior communications specialist.
Exactly.
Very well said. Logan, we have a couple minutes left. I have a twofold question here. Tell us, we just talked about the Dells, jam-packed with tourists because it's such a fun place. What is like a hidden gem here? Where is a place that tourists, if there are any, haven't discovered yet, or where Wisconsinites like to go for some R&R that maybe is not on the beaten path? And then second part, do you have a favorite James Bond movie? The questions go hand in hand.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So hidden gems, one that comes to my mind from personal travels is Kinstone. It is this modern megalithic garden along the Mississippi River on the Great River Road. So think Wisconsin's Stonehenge.
Oh,
I went
cool.
there a couple years back. It was just this like contemplative, quiet destination of these incredible pieces of art made out of boulders that are 10 tons. So I think that's one that a lot of folks haven't even heard of yet.
Wow, I haven't heard of it. I'm looking at it in the map right now. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And
Wow.
as far as like a city, a destination, I've spent some time in Wausau and just absolutely love that city.
Beautiful.
They have some really great restaurants, whether it's the Velveteen Plum with rooftop views of Rib Mountain, some really cool, unique shopping destinations, and great art. So at the Lee Yaki Woodson Art Museum, that's a free museum. So those are some hidden gems for you.
That's great.
And then James Bond, I'm going with Skyfall.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
There you
Yep.
go. There you go. All right.
But
That's a
Pete,
great one.
I would be remiss to not plug that there is a James Bond vehicle collection at the Automotive Gallery
Yes.
in Green Bay.
That is a special place too. Boy, you know your stuff, Logan. Thank you so much. This was enlightening and fun. Always great to catch up with you, pal. And look forward to next time.
Appreciate the time.
All right, that's Logan Rogi, Senior Communications Specialist from Travel Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for the news. We're going to come back and we're going to read your text, And by the way, you have just a few seconds to get the keyword in, fun, F-U-N. That sounds fun. Get it in quickly, and then we're coming back from Movie Club. That's next hour. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network.
Trying to make sense of the world? You've got Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Call our toll-free number now.
Headlines, culture, and real conversation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Here's Pete and Greg.
Welcome back to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. I am Greg Bach, coming all the way from Radio Park here in Racine. And going up the coast to Marinette, Wisconsin, we find one Pete Schwaba. And then, taking another trip all the way to Madison, we find Dom Lee on the ones and the twos at HQ. We are the Yodderhay Triangle, and you are joining us in hour number 2 of the program. If you missed anything from the first hour, including our discussion with our very good friend Logan Rogi from Travel Wisconsin, you can always go to civicmedia.us/shows. Look for Nightlight, download episodes, listen to them at your leisure, catch up, and then come on back. We'll have some more fun. If you ever want to get in touch with us, you can always do that by simply emailing us, nightlight@civicmedia.us, NITELITE@civicmedia.us. Drop us an email. Let us know your thoughts on the show. Let us know about guest topics, things like that. We'd love to hear from you. Always get in touch if you can. We would really appreciate it, my friends. Folks, we have a fantastic second hour ahead for you, including a trip back into the movie club where we'll be discussing the 2006 Casino Royale. It's James Bond starring Daniel Craig for the very first time. We had to make that differentiation yesterday. It's not the 70s version. It is the 2006, I would say official James Bond film of Casino Royale. But that's all coming up in just a little bit. Then we'll be going into the nightcap where we hear from you, your thoughts on tonight's question, as well as figure out what we've learned from today's program. But let's get going here. And oh, by the way, folks, if you whether you entered in for the last hour's keyword or you missed out, you still have one more chance today to get a keyword for your chance to win $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package in our Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest. All you need to do in the 7 o'clock hour, have that Civic Media app open, get to the station of your liking, your favorite station like WAUK, and text in the keyword for your chance to win $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package, including also entry into a grand prize drawing for $250 in gas, $250 in groceries. I mean, my goodness gracious. We could all use that.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we can't have that because we work here. Whatever.
That's not fair.
I know. But that's all coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. And then we start the whole thing over tomorrow. 7 more chances throughout the day. And yeah, good luck to you. And let's keep it moving now. Let's restate the questions of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
The question is, what is your favorite James Bond movie? That's 1. Who was the best Bond? That's 2. And who should be the new Bond? That's 3. 3 questions.
It's a lot of homework.
It's a lot of homework, but
Sorry, everybody.
hey, don't apologize. It's a valid question.
All right.
Questions. What's your favorite James Bond movie? Who is your favorite Bond? And who should be the new Bond? Give us a call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can leave a comment on the live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. You can also get in touch with us via the Civic Media app. You already have it for the contest, so open it up, give us a text, give us a call, listen live, but it's all right there on the Civic Media app. Who is the best James Bond? What is the I'm sorry, let me try it again. What is the best James Bond movie? Who is your favorite Bond? And who should be the new Bond? Those are the questions of the evening. And I also want to point out a live stream comment from Julie. Hi, Pete. Julie Schwaba.
Oh, I had the margin over there, so I had more screen. Hi, Julie. Thanks for listening on Facebook.
Who's that?
She lives 200 feet away from me. She's my sister, my youngest sister.
Hello, Julie. Please feel free to pass along any embarrassing stories about Pete.
Yeah, I'm no question. There are plenty of those, but I'm glad. I didn't think the family liked this show, so that's actually kind of refreshing.
That's very nice. I really
every time I try
that.
to talk to my mom and dad about it, it's like we know you have a radio show. So
brag, lol. All right. Well,
nice that one of the siblings is jumping in.
Let's kick it off with you, Pete. Who is your favorite Bond? Your favorite movie? And do you know who you think the new James Bond should be? I feel like that's a tough question. That's a little bit more. There's thought into that one because there's so much to consider.
I'll start with that one. I know Aaron Taylor Johnson has been mentioned a lot. He's very debonair and he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
One of our Facebook responses was from our pal Melissa Kay from WFHR. Yeah. She thinks Anna Taylor-Joy, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Like
that would be cool.
I'm all for a female Bond or a black Bond, if you will. Coleman Domingo would be great. But I think it's too bad because he's never going to do it. But and he would be the second blonde James Bond. But what's his name? God, I'm totally blanking. Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, he's got that kind of look,
I don't think they would ever entertain a non-English Bond.
Yeah, probably not.
But I mean, Ryan Gosling's Canadian, so he's like half.
That's sort of. There's royalty. I mean, I would say my favorite so far has been Daniel Craig because my favorite. I'm going to contradict myself here a little bit because my favorite Bond movie, and it's just because I was during formative years, and it was my first one I watched over and over because home box office was still new. But Moonraker was my favorite Bond film. But Roger Moore was just kind of stiff. He looked like he should have been a CEO of a company. I don't buy the fighting. Like Craig looks debonair. He's suave. He can fight.
Yeah.
He can do the action stuff. And Connery, I love Connery too. He was just a great actor. But I think Daniel Craig is my favorite. I think I would vote, if I had to pick now, Coleman Domingo, I think would be a great James Bond. And my favorite film is Moonraker.
All right, there you go.
So there you go.
What about you, Dom?
Well, this was actually my first James Bond movie I've ever watched.
Question should
So
be
I would
easy
say, yeah, so it's my favorite that I have ever watched. And I would probably
George
say...
Lazenby.
Nice.
And I probably would say Daniel Craig is the best Bond because I don't know. I just didn't know enough. And what was the last one? Who should be the new Bond?
Who should be the new Bond? Yeah.
Dom Lee.
I actually was going to say
Lee.
myself. I was going to say, or Mila Kunis, maybe for her.
Wow.
Who? Mila Kunis?
Yeah, Mila.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Sometimes she
Her
can be
pedigree,
very,
like her,
yeah.
her resume will never allow that. Bond is like an esteemed, I'm sure she could do it as an actress, but like, because she was on that 70s show, I don't think they would ever entertain that.
Well, also she's the voice of Meg on Family Guy.
That's true.
But she can speak fluent Ukrainian, and I feel like
Really?
she could train to fight. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because she was born in the Ukraine, or born in
that's
Ukraine, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Greg?
Let's see. This all leads me down the path of saying that, like, I haven't seen all of them. I would probably say the favorite one I like, because it's so ridiculous, A View to a Kill, because that was my Moonraker. That was the one that was on home box office on color television all the time when I was a little kid. That was my first exposure.
That song was on the radio a lot. Yeah.
My first exposure to Christopher Walken. So,
oh, nice. Oh,
yeah. So that one is just ridiculous and fun. So I'd probably pick that one. My favorite Bond probably be Daniel Craig, just because he is like just so good. Sorry, Sean Connery fans. He's fine, but I like Daniel Craig better.
Same.
And then who should be the new one? I would say like Tom Holland would be a good one. Ooh. And I think, yeah. I think he'd be a good one. And I'm trying, God, there was another.
If you want a petite James Bond, Tom Holland's
but they're,
your guy.
I mean, Daniel Craig isn't that big. Like he's not a tall gent.
Yeah.
Let's say Tom Holland could get jacked too. I mean, I know they've talked about Jacob Elordi has been in the mix for that as well, and a few things. I don't know. I'd like to see some mixture, but I also don't want to see it just be like, oh, we're going to make it this because we want to do that. It's like, get a good actor to do it. And unfortunately, like the Idris Elba ship has passed. And I think the same thing for Coleman Domingo then too, because their whole thing is like the age, which their words, not mine.
Right.
But yeah, Tom Holland, I think would be a fun one. Very, very fun. I'm sure there's other people we'll talk about on the list.
He's a good actor too.
Yeah, very, very good actor.
I could see that.
But yeah, that's my choice. What do we have on the text line there, Dom?
We got quite a few responses here. We're going to go with the question of the night first. We also have some other texts from the first hour, but we got AJ from Madison texting in saying, 007 Pierce Brosnan.
Brosnan.
Yeah,
Brosnan.
Huh. And then he says,
he was a good Bond.
Abominable.
He was a good Bond. Like, he was built to be Bond. He just got some bad movies. That's the problem.
True. Yeah. But you're right. He comprises like all the elements. He's got the look. He's spry. He's athletic. More than like a Roger Moore, for God's sake.
He also texted and he said, wherever you grew up with is your favorite Bond, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. What else we got?
We also have Dan texting in on WAUK. Says, Die Another Day because Halle Berry, Roger Moore, and Callum Turner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Was Roger Moore still the Bond when Halle Berry was in it?
I thought that was Pierce Brosnan.
You could be right. Yeah, I don't know.
She was in Die Another Day. Oh, that was Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
played, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, Jinx, but her first name is Giacinta. That's, okay. All right. Yeah.
It's made up.
Yeah.
We also have Jewel texting in on WMDX says Sean Connery, A View to a Kill, just like Greg's choice.
Yeah.
And JJ Field. But alternative pick would be Tom Hardy.
Oh, Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Tom Hardy would be great, but he would, I mean, like that Bond would destroy everything because I feel like Tom Hardy would play with such fiery intensity, like rage.
And he just looks like a thug too. He plays a great thug. I'm sure he can pull off Bond. Yeah, for sure.
We also have Chris texting on WMDX says, Casino Royale was my first Bond film, and it did not disappoint. I especially love the chase scene in Madagascar when the person 007 is pursuing runs out of bullets and decides to throw the gun at Bond. Bond then catches the gun and then chucks it back at him. So cool. Rewatched that part like 3 different times. Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, Roger Moore ain't doing that scene. You know what I mean? Probably not even Connery.
He threw a gun at me. Another drink.
Another martini.
See what else we got? Going down here. Brett from Brown Deer texting in on WAUK says, I never got into James Bond. I never understood why or when they captured him, they devised some complicated why to kill him. Just shoot him in the head.
Because then the movie would be over, Brett, and no one would be happy. I mean, like in real life, yes, of course, but then they have to like pontificate and explain, like, here's my plan, Mr. Bond. First, I was going to ... All right, let's see what else we got on the Facebook page right now.
We're looking at Patrick Mine says my favorite Bond movie is Live and Let Die, but I think the best one is Goldfinger. Though I haven't seen many of the Craig movies, I also agree that Idris Elba should be the next Bond. Yeah, he would be great, but like you said, Greg, his time might have passed, but who knows? He says also, if you like Bond and you like video games, the new 007 First Light is fantastic, like you are playing an actual movie. Nice. Sean says, my favorite is Octopussy, and though Connery and I share a name, I'm partial to Roger Moore. See,
interesting.
I break with Sean there, but I did like those movies because it was my formative years. Tiff Burry says, I don't have a favorite movie, but Sean Connery was the best Bond, and I would toss my martini into the face of anyone who disagreed. Very well done, Tiff. That is excellent.
Well, we'll get to more of the messages on Facebook and the text line on our questions of the night. What's your favorite Bond movie? Who's your favorite Bond? And who should play the next James Bond? That's all going to be discussed in the next few minutes here. Coming back, we'll be going into the movie club talking about the 2006 James Bond classic, Casino Royale, starring a blonde James Bond, a James Blonde, if you will. But that's all coming up on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. Stay tuned and stay close.
Ladies and gentlemen, before our show begins, please silence your cell phones. The show is about to begin.
A sort of club.
You two are the boys that run the movie club.
Movie club.
Movie club.
I love these movies. Don't you love these movies?
Movies, more movies.
This is the Nightlight Movie Club.
Welcome back to the Nightlight Movie Club. Every Thursday in the second hour, we pick a film, we watch the film, and then we talk about the film. That was called a dramatic pause. By the way, this is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. I almost said I'm Nightlight. Oh, my God.
And I'm Civic Greg Media.
And Dom, well, he's just Dom Lee.
I'm Pete.
I'm Greg Bach coming to you live from Radio Park and Racine. All the way in Marinette is Mr. Pete Schwaba. And then all the way over in Madison at HQ is Mr. Dom Lee on the ones and twos. And we are the Yada Hey Triangle inside the movie club, where, again, we talk about a movie and we have some fun. And we hope that you join us. If you want to be part of the conversation, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. And you can always get in touch with us via the Civic Media app. Download it right now if you haven't already. You can call, text, listen live, get news. It's all right there on the Civic Media app. Enjoy and welcome to the Movie Club. Tonight's selection is, of course, the 2006 premiere of Daniel Craig as James Bond in Casino Royale. We've kind of given some of our thoughts on it already, but let's get into it. So the movie was released in 2006. Again, it was the first Bond film to feature Daniel Craig as the titular character. I guess not titular, but the main character. And also, a lot of controversy with this young man becoming Bond, too. Lots of controversy.
With Daniel Craig?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was blonde?
Because he was blonde. Exactly. People set up a website that said, either not my James Bond or like jamesbondisn'tblonde.com. Like they were so upset that it was a non-brunette haired man that they were like throwing tomatoes at the screen. It was ridiculous. But somehow they all managed to make it through because he made 5 films total as James Bond.
Very well placed anger too, I would say, in the choice of an actor to play an action hero. I loved this movie when I saw it. It's kind of a miracle. I had not seen it since it first came out, so this is only my second viewing this morning. But from the opening credits, really cool, great graphics, great music, like you said, Chris Cornell. And the whole movie is just a spectacle. It's like from that parkour chase scene, which is so great. It was just overall, I think, I said Moonraker before, but I think this or Skyfall would probably, if I had to watch another Bond movie again as an adult, and I'm a little more savvy about what I like in movies, I would definitely pick a Daniel Craig one because he's great. The scripts are great. How is it weird, though, that Judi Dench, as great as she is, she's always irritated with Bond.
Yeah.
She's mad at him for everything he does. And it's like, you know what? He's a spy. That's what he does. So what were you expecting?
I think this movie should have been called Casino Royale or Watch James Bond Be Not That Good at Things, because it's supposed to be like his introduction into the 00 world, and he's making a lot of mistakes, and he's being hyper arrogant and hyper like angry, and you're just like, you can watch him like, you're about to lose. You're about to lose big time, buddy, and you're supposed to be like really. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know how much of experts you two are on the Bond franchise. Dom, you're not, just because you said it's your first Bond movie. But what I do not understand personally, and I'm not. This isn't a criticism. This is a legit question. And I see that Daddy-O from Windsor has seen all the movies, so maybe you can shed some light on us. How does the James Bond timeline work? So when it all started, I mean, I'm not going to count the Casino Royale from like 1970. Like, I'm not the David Nivens. I'm going to talk about like from Dr. No. You've got Sean Connery into Roger Moore. Well, George Lazenby into Roger Moore, and then Timothy Dalton.
Connery was before Roger Moore.
Yeah, Connery into Roger Moore, but George Lazenby was somewhere in the middle there. But like the thing is, the question always is this the same James Bond as the other ones? Is it like a prequel story?
Right.
Even though this doesn't take place way back in time. Like, it doesn't take place in the 60s or the 50s or anything like that. So I just never understood, like, well, is James Bond the name just a moniker? Does he get given that? Is he some other guy like Steve Smith? And now he's just...
That is weird, because they take the title of 007.
Mm-hmm.
That's the position. You're right. I don't know what's going on with the name, because it's obviously not the same guy, you know.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I liked it overall. It has two of the most opposite ends of the spectrum scenes for me, because the parkour chase scene is outstanding.
Yeah.
I said before the show, why does he keep going up? Like, let the guy go up. Save your life. You don't have to do all the stuff he's doing. And you don't expect James Bond you expect him to be able to shoot a gun, outsmart people, but he does parkour too. I mean, my God. But between that and the scene where he's being tortured in the chair and the whole wailing on his scrotum scene, brutal. And
we'll talk about Mads Mikkelsen in a moment here, because...
Yeah, it was. So those two scenes very, very much stand out. And I was like, as I started this, I was like, oh, I hope that scene was in Skyfall, not Casino Royale. But I had to watch it again today. It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, we'll get into that too in a little bit. We are right now in the Nightlight Movie Club talking about Casino Royale, the 2006 James Bond film starring Daniel Craig, his first go around as the main character. Talking more about that. Not only that, we'll also be asking Pete and Dom a simple question. I guess you'd call it a fourth question of the night, because you all can answer this too. What special skill would you bring to the 00 if you got the title? So think about that one during the break. We're going to come on back for more discussion in the movie club here on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay close. Welcome back to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. You can always get in touch, 855-752-4842, 855-755-CIVIC. Leave a comment on our live stream. Our question of the night, questions of the night: who is your favorite Bond? What is your favorite Bond movie? And who should be the next Bond when they pick one? Let us know. Call or text. The live stream is going right now on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. You can also get in touch with us via the Civic Media app. Download that now. If you don't, you can also take part in our Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest. Talk more about that in a little bit. But don't forget, tomorrow we'll be right back here for Casual Friday. We'll welcome back to the show Norm Kopeski, co-owner of Appleton Cigar, to talk about his big event coming up this weekend. And then also Brent Davey, the cultural critic and lead petitioner against phone policy at the Alamo Draft House. That's all going to be here tomorrow on the show, Casual Friday. Check it out. But now we are in the movie club officially talking about 2006's I almost said Die Another Day. Wow, good gracious. Casino Royale, starring Daniel Craig in his first-time role as James Bond. Discussing the movie. Let us know your thoughts. Again, give us a call. Let us know anything, your thoughts on the movie, James Bond, the franchise itself. But one thing I noticed, Pete, about it was interesting is that I think we talked about this last week regarding film scripts and how long they are to how long the script is to how long the movie is. And you know, it said the thing I looked up, it said about a page a minute, and I looked it up, and this movie is 2.5 hours long. The script is 112 pages. What? They really barely say anything in this movie. Yeah. There's so much action that, like, I think you could, if you're watching scenes, they're really, really short in dialogue, and then they go right into something else, like a beautiful crane shot, a big old fight scene. But yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue in this movie.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I didn't know that. I was kind of like, whenever I watch a movie now, I'm like, oh, it's 2.5 hours. Like, but then you get into it, and it's kind of like, this isn't one of those movies I didn't want it not to end, but I did enjoy it. There's two things that stood out for me, and the woman riding the horse on the beach, Katerina Marino. I was so glad she died. Come on, what are you doing? Riding a horse on the beach? Who
was that the same
Greg?
lady? I thought that was a different lady.
No, her husband died. They killed him. Bond stabbed him. They killed her in the hammock. And then this was just I talked about the scene earlier where they put him in the chair and they tortured him by swinging that rope at his privates. But I forgot when I was watching today, I remember that was right after he survived the Mickey in the drink and had to have his heart started again. Yeah. And then he gets his scrotum wailed on in that other scene. Tough night for Jimmy Bond. I mean, geez, what a horrible night that is. But the horse on the beach was insanity.
But he won $120 million, so he's doing just fine.
But did he get to keep it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's what happens when you have a government job.
I thought the weirdest thing, though, is when he was, like, hitting on the woman he was with during the poker game. Like, the lines were just so... Like, they wanted to update the character. They wanted to update the look. They wanted to update the action, which they did. Like, all that stuff was great. But every time those two interacted in any sort of, like, quasi-romantic way, I'm like, can we just... Can we go to another fight or do another poker? Because you guys, like, it's just very weird the things you're saying to each other. And, like, it starts off with, like, her being like, no. And then he's trying so hard. And then at one point, she's like... I don't even want to say it on the air. Just things are like really like, oh my God, these are like 40s love letters you guys are writing each other after being together for what, 36 hours?
Right.
Dom, what about you? What was your takeaway as your first Bond movie?
I gotta say, the villain, I think, what was his name? Le Chiffre?
He was sort of the villain. He's like
sort of, but he was so intense. I really liked that character. He, like, whenever he was looking at Bond just right across the poker table, that was always such a cool, intense moment for me. And throughout I do like the intense movies. You know, when it came back to when I was talking about Obsession, Backrooms, everything that makes my heart pump, I really like, and you know, Casino Royale did that for me. I think all throughout the movie, it was always intense. When he had to resuscitate him and bring him back to life, I thought that was intense. It was cool. So I think, all those parts, I really liked it. I liked my first James Bond.
Did you at any point think, oh, is James Bond going to die
Not at all.
now?
Not at all.
Okay,
I always knew this dude was going to survive everything. Yep.
Yeah, not in this one. That's right.
Ooh,
that's right.
That's why I got to keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You got 4 more movies. Quantum of Solace, it's fine. But is there anything else?
Good, right?
Skyfall is great. And I liked Spectre a lot. I did not see Die Another Day or Take Another Time to Die or Die Some...
No Time to Die.
No time for shenanigans. I just never got to that
like
one.
The present.
No time. That's why it's a gift. That's why they call it the present. I mean, it was a fun movie. I had a good time. It was I think my second or third time watching it. So for me, I was just, I'm like, man, some of this dialogue is just really stilted. And you're right. Like at every point that Judi Dench is on screen, she's just mad.
What's she mad at? He's running an operation here.
She's not even mad. She's just annoyed.
She's irritated. Yeah, exactly.
I like when she goes, I missed the Cold War.
Here's another thing, you guys. I totally forgot. I want to jump out of the movie for a second. Yeah. Timothy Dalton. Did we mention him? He played James Bond too, and I totally forgot about him. He was good.
He was good too. He was good. Again, like Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan kind of get passed over a lot just because they didn't do a lot of movies.
Didn't do it for very long.
But Pierce Brosnan was great. Timothy Dalton was fun. Okay, here's a really quick question for both of you. Start with Pete.
Okay.
If you were to become a 00 agent tomorrow, let's say all right, tomorrow you begin your training. What do you think your 1 or 2 chief qualities that will make you good at the job would be?
First of all, I was planning on sleeping in tomorrow, so I don't think I could run any kind of spy operation. I wouldn't be ready by tomorrow.
Okay, so we're not going to mark time management. All right.
Okay, cool. Time management is not it. Probably my inappropriate giggle at times, or when I start to laugh. I don't know. I like to think I could diffuse a situation with humor, even in a weird setting, because I've kind of done that my whole adult life. I don't know if it would ever be called for in these circumstances, but either that, Greg, or a karate chop to the back of the neck. I want to bring that back because we haven't seen that since the late 70s.
A good old-fashioned karate chop to the shoulder, like right there where the neck meets the shoulder. I love it.
Or then when they go like this really quick, and it's like, that did nothing. What are you doing?
I like the idea of you being a top secret agent and then being like, who is that? And you start giggling. They're like, no, that's not a 00. 00s don't giggle.
Schwaba. Pete Schwaba. Did you say cobbler? No, Pete Schwaba. What's so hard to understand about that?
My family has made the famous Polish sausages for 700 years now. Right. Dom, what about you? What do you think you'd bring to the table as a 00 agent?
I have 2, and I would say...
Oh, wow.
I have 2, yes. I'm confident. And I'd say one of them would probably, whenever I would have to swim, if I have to dive, I would say I'm a good swimmer. So if there was an opportunity where I have to fight someone in the water, I think I would have the upper hand there. And 2 would be seduction.
Seduction. I like it. I love the confidence.
Look at the confidence on that young man.
Look what that haircut has done for you. Ooh. That is really unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm starting to regret it a little bit, but yes.
No, you said it's on air. But chop that up. That's content. That's best of. WABA, are you listening? You're listening right now.
Stop listening.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
And what about you, Greg? What are you bringing to the table, buddy?
I think the only thing I can bring to the table is a sense of planning. Like I could say, like, all right, what do we need to do? Let's do this, and then I'd probably say, someone else go do it though. I'd be a really good guy in the chair. I'll say this. I don't think I'd be a good 00 agent. There's a lot going against me, but I do
when you say the guy in the chair, you don't mean the chair with the hole in it where the guy's swinging the rope.
No, I don't.
You're talking about a delegator.
Yes, exactly. The guy in all those movies who's sitting at the computer in his chair and he gets to say these words when they break into something electronic. We're in. That's who That's who I would be. I don't think I'd make. I think the best thing for 00 for me would just be a sense of, either being conversational. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I get something out of somebody.
That's good.
I'm not smoldering at all. Dom.
I'm with you too, though. I want to be the guy in a movie who just goes clear. You know, like Secret Service agent or something. That would be really sweet. Overall, I really like this, guys. I thought it was a good... another thing I'm kind of over in movies, the guy on foot that catches up to a car somehow. The car does a turn, and the guy's able to catch it while he's running. We've seen this in movies a lot. It's got to stop.
You're just jealous you can't run that fast? Because Daniel Craig did a lot of running in this movie.
He did.
Like speedy running. Let's get to a call on the line right now. Jack from Merrimack answering the questions of the night. Jack from Merrimack, how are you doing, friend? What's going on?
Hey, good evening. Really nice day out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, So the best James Bond, hands down, no question whatsoever, was the first James Bond. And
movie or actual character?
The character.
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a popular choice tonight.
As far as I'm concerned, he had the best combination of being sophisticated, should we say, without being snooty, and being self-confident without being excessively arrogant. Wow. And just did an incredible job. I would say the best movies probably were one of the first three. I really, and I have, by the way, I think I've got most, I don't have all of them, but I got most of them either on VHS tape, if you can believe that, or on DVD. And I liked Dr. No. I thought that was just very well done. Not excessively complex in terms of the gadgets and the interactions, the villains and the good guys. And I also I really liked Goldfinger, and I thought that that was among the best in terms of gadgets without going sci-fi, and in terms of the just the basic simplicity of the plot, the concept of the bad guys are really bad and the good guys are really good. And it was extremely well done.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you for letting us know. We appreciate your thoughts on the topic. Have yourself a wonderful night, my friend.
I totally forgot about Dr. No. See, a lot of these I've seen when I was a kid because my dad would watch them, but I don't remember much about the movies. But Sean Connery he's hard. He's just a great actor. It's hard to argue with that. But this movie also got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and a 90 from the audience. I'm always amazed. You always have to allow for people that aren't going to like something, but it's like when you go to see a James Bond film and this is what you see, I would love to know what their criticisms were. Because I mean, we did some of it here tonight with the horse on the beach, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It's a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I'm not probably going to watch it over and over and over again, but it was a fun time. I feel like I want to watch Quantum of Solace, even though it's not, because this is the thing is like it's a sequel. Like essentially, it's this continuation of this particular story.
Oh, is it really?
So, yeah. It's and the problem is that movie was done during the writer's strike, I think of 2008. So they couldn't bring writers on, so they were rewriting scenes on the fly between the director and Daniel Craig. So it's a little not great, but whatever. I mean, they make it up for Skyfall, but that has been another
Tucker.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Great choice, Tucker. And that has been all now for the movie club for this week. We talked about Casino Royale starring Daniel Craig as James Bond. Thank you, everyone, for getting in touch with us, letting us know. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to the nightcap. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network.
It's time to wind it down. Let's take a moment to look back and ask, what did we learn today? This is Nightcap with Greg and Pete.
Welcome back to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. As always, get in touch, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. We are officially in the nightcap, so we're going to get to more of your text messages, more of your thoughts on tonight's questions, as well as talk about what we've learned. But let's start off with the text line. Dom, what else do we have left from the people?
We got a few more. We got Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids saying, who could possibly resist Honor Blackman as Temptress, Pussy Galore, and Goldfinger? Her nasty boss reminds me of someone else who also craves the color of gold. I wonder what that would be. Okay.
I love gold!
We got Karen from Racine texting in saying David Niven, 1967 Casino Royale. So the original.
Yeah, nice. The original, yeah.
We got Anna texting in from Madison. Says, I think Pedro Pascal would make a great James Bond.
He would.
He'd be fun.
He'd be good.
Great.
He'd be really
Also very smoldery.
Very smoldery. Yes. We got Daddy-O from Windsor. I've seen all the films. Daniel Craig is my favorite from Russia. Would Love is probably my favorite movie.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Folks who've seen all the movies still say Daniel Craig. I think that says a lot about Daniel Craig's performance.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. And then he also said, also said Daniel Craig was a reboot. The other films before that were a loose continuation, but very loose. Great show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that.
Daddy-O. Thank you, Daddy-O.
I like that name.
Thanks, Daddy-O.
We got a couple texts from John Murray saying Roger Moore was my favorite because he was in my adolescent wheelhouse. The Spy Who Loved Me was awesome. Loved Jaws as well.
Jaws, cool Jaws. Character. My God, that character was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then he also said he was one scary giant. I don't know.
So, Dom, look up
Jaws.
James Bond Jaws character. Mm-hmm. He's terrifying. Did you ever see Happy Gilmore?
I did. Yep.
He's the big guy who the ball landed on his foot.
Yes.
He played Jaws.
Okay, yes. He is one scary giant guy. You're right, John.
Thank you, Adam Sandler.
Then he said Octopussy is also one worth mentioning over and over and over just because it was also so awesome. And then he said, love a circus as well.
Nice.
I think
that's it.
I think that's it. I think that's all
we
got.
a few more. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
No.
Did you get them, Dom?
He got him. Yep.
I think I got him. Yeah.
What else we got on Facebook?
Just a couple from our pal Melissa K, Sean Connery, Goldfinger, Anna Taylor. Did I read that already? All right,
you said it during the break. You said it during the break.
So.
Yeah.
So Melissa says Sean Connery was the best. Goldfinger's her favorite movie. Anna Taylor-Joy should be the next Bond. That would be interesting.
I think
great
the Bond
text.
fans
Thank
would
you,
lose
Melissa.
their minds, but I don't disagree.
I know. Who cares? Teresa Seafeld says Skyfall. I love Daniel Craig, but Sean Connery was the best James Bond. Next James Bond, she says Idris Elba. Yeah, he would be good too. And then we've got Richard Vargas. This might be my favorite. Goldfinger was his favorite. Kevin Hart should be the next James Bond.
I'm Bond. James Bond.
Sure.
That's my impression of
Let's do
Kevin
it.
Hart doing James Bond. And then we have a few more comments on the live stream here before we get on out of here. Nick says, hey, Dom, a cashier at Aldi will give you a quarter for your cart. Shoppers will also leave quarters on the ledge by the carts, too. Really? I've seen people just leave their quarters as well, like just right in the cart.
Cashiers
so,
or leave the cart out. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I do that, too. And if you get it, you think there are people out there that take the cart and then take the quarter?
Yes.
Don't leave the cart.
Of course. Of course there are. Oh, in a world of 8+ billion people, of course there are.
But Aldi's a community. It's a very giving. I love the Aldi people.
Let's see. We had Nick also goes on to say, sorry, I don't have anything to add to the Bond discussion. That's okay. You add so much more, Nick, just being here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We love it. Dave says Sean Connery, he's just the bee's knees, and he believes that Alan Richman, a.k.a. Reacher, should be the next Bond. That would be a mighty
Alan
big Bond.
Richardson would be
just
good,
a walloping Bond man right there. Folks, don't forget tomorrow we're going to be welcoming Norm Kopesky from Appleton Cigar Company back to the show to talk about his upcoming event that benefits vets in the community. So stick around for that one. And then we'll be talking to Brent Davey, culture critic and lead petitioner against phone policies at the Alamo Draft House. So we'll be back here tomorrow for Casual Friday. But while we have you here, let's talk about what we learned. Pete, what did you learn tonight?
I learned that I would be a terrible James Bond, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, I like that. Wow. Self-discovery.
Yeah.
Love that. Tom?
I learned that I would be a great James Bond.
Okay, park it, dude. Dude, seriously, does that ego take up the entire parking structure at your work?
Oh, yes, it does. But no, seriously, I also learned about all James Bond movies. You know, Dr. No, Octopus.
Yeah.
You know, a lot more that I didn't know before. So,
got a whole catalog.
Greg, what about you?
We're really quick here. Melissa from Willie Street says, read my text to Pete. If you did already, my bad. I don't know if you did. So there. What did I learn? I learned, one, that the Eau Claire festival that Justin Vernon from Bon Iver used to put on is back. That's very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Wisconsin's a great place to be in the summertime. I just needed to be reminded. And I also learned that Dominic believes in himself to a great deal.
A little too much.
Yeah, really. It's just a little bit like, tamp down, bro. Tamp down.
I do see Melissa from Willie Street's text real quick, if you want to.
What does it say?
It says, Pete, you need to monetize the Christmas City USA thing. Trademark it, license it, and become the hero of Marinette. Folks will come hunting for Santa, seeking out all year-round Christmas displays. Think of all the opportunities, Pete.
I mean, hunting for Santa, is that what you really want? My goodness gracious.
I'm going to noodle this, Melissa. I appreciate the, I'll give you a taste if it ever goes anywhere. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, folks, we got to get on out of here, but do not forget in the 7 o'clock hour, your chance to get the keyword for our Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text to win contest. Just make sure you have that Civic Media app. Text in that keyword for your chance to win $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize pack and go into a huge grand prize of $250 in gas, $250 in groceries. That's all coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. And then it all starts again tomorrow. 7 more chances. And we'll be back here tomorrow as well with some Casual Friday. So let's have some fun. Let's get ready for the weekend, folks. Have yourself a great night. We will talk to you tomorrow. Pete, please say good night to the people.
Good night, Wisconsin. Let's go.